So I have a few moments available today, and I wanted to think for a second out loud, kind of think about like what makes a life and a person living that life feel like they are contributing to a purpose bigger than themselves. It seems like we're more divided than we've ever been before. Tensions are high, and the ability to live is extremely stressful. It's hard for a lot of individuals to make a living. It's hard to feel like you're contributing to a purpose that's bigger than something self-serving, which is what I think may be some of the situation that leads us into a predicament of feeling a lack of purpose. I spend a lot of time reading philosophy. Some of my favorites are Plato and Aristotle, um, which originally threw me down the rabbit hole of feeling like maybe happiness or purpose in originality was the pursuit of living a virtuous life. And then I come to understand that maybe it's important to always seek knowledge because knowledge in pursuit of just obtaining it by itself without a preconceived notion or outcome of what that knowledge is going to do is what can lead to that feeling that we search for of being defined as happiness. But even then I was empty, right? So then we go look at mainstream media and what we're told is going to make us happy. It may be a career, for what you've been told is going to make you happy, or financial success or financial freedom, or and I'm not saying that those things in their own right aren't contributing factors, but them alone equally isn't going to make you that happy because as humans, our brains have this thing against complacency. We dream of this thing until we get this thing, and then no longer do we even like it. Similarly, in my life, if you would have asked me 5 years ago that I'd be doing what I'm doing today and helping the people I'm helping today, if I would have even believed that could have been a possibility, and I'd have been like, no way. That is what would make me extremely happy. Um, And yes, I found my way through whatever life has presented itself, and I'm at peace with life. I feel like I'm serving a purpose now, and that's what I'm going to share with you. And what I think you might be able to take away from some of this is how you can implement some of these things for yourself if you feel like there's a need for that. Um, but until like a month ago, I was still struggling with like being internally happy with what I'm doing with life. Like, yes, finances are fine, my career is fine. Uh, Education wise, that's fine. Everything's solid. I've got a family I love. I've got a little son I love. Everything's great. But I was still missing something. I felt like I was empty, right? And I think we kind of get misconstrued of what success is versus what's going to make you feel happy. Some of the emptiest times I've ever had in my life, emotionally or internally, ironically enough, were when I've cashed checks that were bigger than I would have ever imagined that I've cashed from work I've done. And I was like, why do I feel so empty? There was a happiness study, Daniel Kahneman, that found that there is a plateau that happens after reaching $100,000 a year as a salary. Um, there's a positive correlation from 0 to $100,000. So the more you earn up until that threshold, the happier you are. But at that threshold, something magnificent happens. You no longer get happier for earning more. And I think it kind of points back to this metric. Maybe what could make us happier is by doing good for other people. And as I started focusing my attention and time and efforts on trying to help other people in the ways that I can without putting a burden on myself, because I think that's kind of critical. You can't help others at the detriment of your own well-being, because that's not really going to do anything either for yourself. And this seems rather one-sided and selfish, but I think that being able to help people in a natural capacity be better off in whatever way you can might actually lead you to find whatever your purpose is. At least it has for me. Um, because every single day there's thousands of people dying because they're starving, they don't have access to food. Around the world, every day thousands of people are dying because they don't have access to clean water or clean ways to deal with sanitation. Every day thousands of people around the world are dying because they get bit by a mosquito and contract malaria. And it's something here in the developed world is unheard of, but it's normal day-to-day life for some people. And in other parts of the world, there are people that die every single day, or go blind and then die because they lack sufficient levels of vitamin A, um, and or catch, a neglected tropical disease that we wouldn't have a problem dealing with in a developed country because we have access to $2 or $3 medicine, but where they are, they don't have access to that. When I started looking deep into the conditions of, some poor countries versus our country, naturally, it no longer seemed like any of my problems psychologically, emotionally, which is psychologically, or even physically, financially, if any of those problems exist, even really mattered. All of us have access to tap water in some capacity, and it's a magnitude of levels cleaner than the access that a lot of people around the world have access to. And I was like, we don't have it so bad here, no matter how hard it seems economically to live, or how hard you got to work, or how many jobs you have to work to make. We don't have it that bad at all. And I realized that with how good we have it here, anyone in any level can make some kind of an impact in lives around the world for other people that need just a little bit of help. Um, and as I started implementing this kind of mission in my life to help others, I started feeling full. Of course, I'm not standing here to say, "Hey, go donate a lot of money to missions around the world to help other people and you'll be happy," because frankly, that might not be the case for you. But there's other ways you can help. You can volunteer your time at local food shelters. You can simply offer 5 minutes of your time to talk with someone that you find that's homeless. They may just need uplifting words of encouragement. You never know, because any of us at the way that life is right now, we're one lost job away, or one broken back away, or one health emergency away from probably not being too far from homeless either. It's magnificent to find out how something so seemingly insignificant to you could be so powerful to someone else. It could be words that you could offer someone else that could help them. And then intrinsically, it could motivate you to feel better because you're actually contributing to a purpose that's outside of you, bigger than you, not something that is selfishly fulfilling to increase your net worth. And I think that maybe some of those ideologies that I've just talked about might be the key to finding some sort of happiness. It definitely would give you purpose, because after a while, you come to realize that it's rather a bleak existence, this human suffering we go through being alive, which is a grateful blessing. I'm not refuting that, but it is still suffering to a degree if you look at it objectively. It's rather bleak that that's we suffer to suffer less financially, or suffer to, and that's the meaning of our whole time on earth. I think I think it's bigger than that. I think it's we learn how to leave the world around us better than we found it when we became conscious ourselves, right? We help others that without our assistance would have been able to help themselves. So it's just some thoughts I had while I had a few minutes, and gosh, I wanted to share them with you because times are tough right now. Not just in America, but all over the world. Tensions are high, and people are struggling in every economic class. So I know probably there's a piece of this that can help a multitude of people, regardless of what their level is, earning potential is, or wherever they are in their lives, their careers, their academic journeys. And I just felt that it was important I shared this message. Maybe it could be a message of hope that you find purpose if you're lacking purpose. And if you have purpose in your life, maybe you share some of those tips with other people that you know may be struggling. I'm sure any of us at any given time know 4 or 5 people that are struggling for purpose or something in their own lives. So I appreciate your time and I wish you well.